Hey everyone, it's Michelle. I just got back a couple weeks ago from doing the JMT. We finished at the end of September and it was an incredible trip. It was a little chillier than we anticipated because the cold front came in early this year, but we got out before the storms hit, and overall I was really happy with the gear that I brought. We were able to save a lot of weight by sharing some of our gear, but I'm going to go over my equipment today as if I had gone solo, just so you all have an idea of what a complete list would be for an individual. Here is the full spread. I wanted to line up because this was such a long distance and I am prone to injuries. So we swapped out a lot of our gear this year and tried to not spend too much money. I overall was very happy. I never felt like my bag was too heavy, even when it was at its max weight. Okay, so starting with the pack. It's the Gregory Optica. My partner had the same one except for men, and it's just slightly larger capacity. This is a much lighter weight pack than my previous one, which was almost 5 pounds. I think this one was around 3 pounds. The functionality of their packs is excellent. I was really happy with this pack overall. It was very comfortable. Yeah, it was perfect. Up here, this is the ring cover that comes with the Optica. It just fits in underneath the brain. There's another pocket down here. Worked really well, no complaints there. Glad that it came with the pack so that we didn't have to pay any extra money. Down below is our tent. This is just an Advanced Elements bag. It's waterproof, except we got a lot of DEET on it on past trips, so I don't think it's waterproof anymore. But this has the Lanshan 2-person tent inside. It's from this company called Misc. It's very cheap for an ultralight tent. I think it was around $100, and then we got the footprint as well, which was $20 to $30. And overall, it's less than 3 pounds with the footprint in it as well. This is one of those tents that needs to be staked up with your poles. It doesn't come with any poles, which is why it's so light. This is a pretty snug fit for 2 people. I'm 5'4" and Sai is 5'11", but we were very comfortable in it. Overall, the tent performed great. We got rained on, we got snowed on, we got hailed on. We were in pretty windy conditions at times, and the tent held up really, really well. It is a little difficult in a couple areas to stake it out because the ground is so hard, but that was not really an issue for us because we were always able to find rocks to like just tie it to and hold it up that way. So overall, super happy with this tent. It was great price point, way cheaper than anything in its category. So that is a really good option if you're trying to drop a couple pounds right away. This is our Z-Seat butt pads. A little bit of a luxury item. It's only 2 ounces, I believe, and this was also super great. You could just sit down anywhere and get a nice cushy butt pad. In here is my sleeping bag. The sleeping bag is the Horatio from Mountain Hardwear. It's a 15-degree down bag. It's not top of the line, but it's like pretty good quality. It's Q-Shield down. I think it's only $6.50 fill, and I got it like 50% off. So it was about $110, which is really good, I think. Instead of using the compression bag that it came with, I'm actually using this bag from Thermarest. It came with our Thermarest pads, and this bag is the one that you can use to inflate your sleeping pad. So I just eliminated the sleeping bag, compression bag, and then stuffed my sleeping bag in here. And if you just like really press it down and then kind of like twist it and then stuff it into your bag, it works perfectly well as a compression bag. This is our Thermarest pads. They're the Therm X, which has an R value over 5. They're really sturdy. They're not too loud. It can compress down much smaller than this. I just tend to fold it up and stick it in my bag. I was very happy with that. It was nice and warm. Also part of our sleep system are these little pillows. They're from Trekology. They're only $10. I find that they really help me sleep. So I like to leave his a little bit less inflated so that it was more cushy. These are my trekking poles. They're Foxelli and they are carbon fiber. I think they were 14 or 15 ounces, which were much lighter than my old poles. And these worked great. I'm so surprised I didn't shatter them. Every single day I would wedge them into rocks and then accidentally almost bend it. They're still holding up really well. So going into our water system, we brought the Platypus Gravity Works. We used to have the mini Sawyer squeeze, but I was just so sick of squeezing it all the time. We got this gravity system and it worked really well. I actually forgot to bring the back flush syringe, but I thought of a little hack where you just cut off a little bit of the tube and then you can actually stick it onto a sports cap. You need to finagle it a little bit into there, and then you can use your bottle to back flush it that way. We each had an Evernew. These are 2 liters and it's 0.6 ounces, I believe. Super lightweight. I love those. And then our main water bottle was the classic Smart Water 1 liter. And then I got the sports cap because using the normal cap, I just feel like I would have lost it. And you don't have to worry about holding onto the cap, and then you can squirt it into your mouth. And then it also ended up being extremely useful because we attached the tube on here to back flush our filter. Going into our cook system. So our cook system consisted of the Spider ETA stove, and we bought this set a while ago. I really love the whole system that it comes with, but instead of bringing the stove that we got with this, we got this really light one from BRS. This is also super cheap. I think it was like $15 and it's so tiny. The only thing is the quality is definitely not as good as our Primus stove. This one sputtered a couple times and the flames were just a little erratic, and I was always a little worried that it was gonna crap out on us, but it ended up working well for the whole trip. And of course we had some fuel, and this is a mini Bic lighter, so a little smaller than usual. And then we had some sporks from Tokes. We mostly just boiled water in our stove, but there were a couple times where we picked up some food from hiker boxes and then cooked them in our pot. For the most part, we would eat something like this. They're all Mountain House meals that we repackaged into quart-sized freezer bags that you can pour water directly into. But yeah, we just boil some water, put it in here. We each had 1 meal, and then we would put that into this cozy. This one is from Big Sky. It's pretty large, so it easily fit both of our Ziploc bags, and we can just bring one of these. So that was our cook system. And you know, what goes in must come out. So we had our portable bidet. It was only several ounces and I loved this. I was very dubious about it at first, but this ended up being really nice. You just fill it with water and then you give like, we would each use about like half of this bottle after we went number 2, and it just leaves you really nice and clean. The only thing was, there was one morning where it was so cold that the water in these holes froze up and we couldn't use it, but most of the time it was fine. And then for toilet paper, we use these coin tissues. These are not biodegradable, not that you're supposed to bury any toilet paper anyway. You just pour a tiny bit of water on it and then it expands into this like 10-inch by 10-inch piece of paper towel that's like a little more durable than a normal paper towel. And we use this not only for bathroom, but at the end of the day we would wash our bodies with this, which is the best way to keep clean. These were really nice and compact, pretty light. We carry like a full bag of this for each leg of the trip, and we'd have like a couple left over. This was what was left over on our last leg. Oh, and then also for going bathroom, we got the Deuce of Spades. This also seemed unnecessary to me at first. I usually just use the heel of my boot or my trekking pole, but man, when you're in the high Sierras, it is hard to dig in some areas, and when you gotta go, you gotta go. This thing is just like boom, 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 and then you have a hole. So I highly recommend this. It is really hard to dig cat holes in some of the areas, and this helped a lot. Continuing on about our toiletries, this was my moon cup. This is a Kula cloth. I tried this for the first time on this trip. I love this. It's lined with silver, so it's antimicrobial. You don't have to bring any toilet paper for number ones. We also brought contact case, an extra pair of contacts, and I actually did drop one of my contacts, which is why my right contact is not here. Contact solution and this tiny little thing of hand sanitizer. We have this body glide. Because we did our little bird baths every night, we didn't have much chafing overall. We brought some floss in this Ziploc bag and it got clumped up pretty fast. This is the Blue Lizard sunscreen that I just squirted into this tiny lotion bottle. This was plenty for us because we were mostly covered and we just had to apply sunscreen to our faces. Toothpaste, toothbrush, earplugs. I lost one of them, but these were useful for when we stayed at more crowded campgrounds. Chapstick. I also had some safety pins. I usually kept those attached on my pack, so I'd put it like, right there or something, just so that I could hang clothing that I had washed. That was super useful, but I did notice a couple times that one of the pins would pop open and I would just find it in our tent, which was really scary. Just be wary if you bring safety pins to keep track of them and make sure they don't poke any of your things. Some other things that were useful was this carabiner. We just found this at a garage sale at REI, but it's pretty cool because it has a bottle opener, which we did use, and it also has this tiny blade in here, which we also used to cut some rope. And then it's a carabiner. It also has a fire striker, which is really not that useful, but you never know. And this tiny Gerber knife. This is what we use to cut the tubing on our water filter so that we can MacGyver our back flushing system. And I sharpened this right before we left. Here is our repair kit. It just has some repair materials for our pads and tents, some duct tape, an extra smart water cap. This was the little piece of tubing that we cut off some other repair sealants, a buckle. That's pretty much it that goes in there. This is our first aid kit, zinc oxide. It acts as a diaper rash kind of ointment. I have some moleskins in here, some Lugo tape, which I did use, Tylenol. This is actually Tylenol with codeine because I got that from my dentist last year. Some ibuprofens in here, just some band-aids, some antibiotic ointments, alcohol wipes. We picked up these nail clippers at one of our resupplies. It's really shitty though, and some Imodium. Electronics. I also picked this up this year from a garage sale. Black Diamond Spotlight. Way better than the other headlamp that I got on sale. It has really great features on it. Nice and light too. So this is our quick charge. I think it's from Anchor. It has 2 ports in it. Good for resupplies. Not too expensive. iPhone charging cable. It's Anchor power bank. That's, I think, 20,000 milliamps. This was just way overkill. I thought because most people bring the 10,000, I thought for 2 people then we would need 20,000, but it turned out that Sai just did not use his phone at all, and everything else we had really didn't need to be charged that often. So even though I used my phone a lot to take videos every day, I barely used half of this over 6 days. This is the Garmin InReach Mini, which pretty much everyone we saw on the trail had. Some people had the larger, older models, but this was super handy. It's an expensive piece of equipment, but because the weather ended up being kind of crazy, this was really nice to have so that we could get weather reports. And then we also texted our moms with it, so they were happy that we could update them. And then we just had the moisture absorbing packs. And then we also had our Tom Harrison maps, which were great. I used the Gut Hook app a lot, and having both of them was really useful. And then this is our permit, and then we also had a crib sheet with emergency information like bailout points and contact information for rangers and hotels and so forth. Okay, so clothing. Here's the hat I wore. It has this X on it because I got it at the REI garage sale. And I stuck in this bluebird feather that I found on the trail. But yeah, I love this hat. It's crushable. It has a nice brim, so I felt very protected from the sun. Never got too hot, but it kept me a little warmer on cold days. Because my pack was pretty compact overall, the back of the hat was not hitting it. Otherwise, I would not have brought this hat. I would have just brought something else. But yeah, this hat was awesome. These are not the glasses that I brought. The ones that I brought got really scratched, but these are something similar, and they're also very scratched up. I still wear these. This is my bandana. I also have this buff, and this kept my neck warm. Sometimes I wore it around my head. Sometimes I used it to dry off my feet if we cross some water. Very versatile. This is our bug net. Just the first week we had some mosquitoes. Since we were all covered and we treated our clothing with permethrin, we just needed the bug net to cover our face, and then we never used our DEET. We brought these fleece gloves because we thought that the top of the mountains were going to be really cold, but these ended up being really useful every single day when we were packing up our campsite, because every morning it was just so freaking cold. And then the gloves that we wore while we were hiking were the Outdoor Research sun gloves. I also got these at a garage sale. These were super clutch. One of the surprising benefits of using sun gloves is that they would absorb a lot of the sweat from my hands, and so I just had better grip on my trekking poles and not as much chafing between my fingers, if anyone else gets that. And then I also had this beanie, a cheap beanie that I got at Target. It's fleece, not bad at all. And talking about fleece, this was my lightweight fleece that I got at REI a long time ago. Sometimes I sleep in this, but I mostly just wore it at night and in the morning. Definitely got a lot of use out of that. For outerwear, I also had my new Mountain Hardwear down jacket. Really freaking expensive, even though I got like a huge discount on it, but I love this and I wear it every day now, so I was really happy with it. And then we also got Outdoor Research Helium 2 rain jackets, really lightweight, only 6 or 7 ounces, kind of zips up, although it's really hard to unzip from the pocket like this. It was good as a wind jacket and a rain jacket. These are shorts that I brought. It's North Face. They're really nice. I love these shorts in general, but I didn't use them a ton on the trail. They're nice to hike in once in a while, and also nice for laundry days. These are like my favorite hiking pants. I'm short, so I have to roll the bottom up, even though this is petite. I sewed on this extra button just because it tends to get a little loose after I wear it for a couple days, so then I would just switch over to using the other button so that it's a little tighter, and that worked. And then for thermals, just 2 Uniqlo thermals. I think they're like $10 or $15 each. Used them for a long time. They're really soft. I probably would have liked slightly warmer thermals. Wool thermals would have been nice. Some lightweight wool thermals. This is the shirt I sleep in every night anyway, and it's like really comfortable, so I went with that. This was my hiking shirt. It's from Columbia. It's the Omni shade. I loved this shirt. Really comfortable. Fits really nicely. I never got too hot. It's not very warm, but that's what your layers are for, and it gives really nice sun protection. And the collar is also nice to have to protect your neck. This is just the lightweight sports bra I have. I have had this for a really long time. The label has kind of worn off, so I don't even know what brand this is. Some like no-name brand. And then I got the Ex Officio Give and Go sports briefs, and these worked really well. I would wash them and then hang them on my pack to dry. For my socks, I had 2 pairs of these PhD Smart Wools. My feet just get kind of sweaty, and when they're sweaty, they get blistery. I often wore these Injinji liners with the individual toe socks. I would just wear these by themselves. The moisture would evaporate from my feet more easily, and it was nice to have that toe separation. I did feel like my feet weren't cushioned enough in my shoe, but I ended up doing that a lot. These are right socks. My feet would just get sweaty in them, so I ended up not using these like at all. For water crossings and for camp shoes, we brought the A-Liter water shoes. Found them on Amazon. They have like thousands of good reviews, and overall we were really happy with them. The only thing is gravel gets stuck in these holes. I ended up just leaving the rocks in most of the times, but overall very good value for the money that you spend on these. So these are my hiking shoes. They're the Loa Renegades. Very popular heavy-duty hiking boots. Not the lightest. I don't know what to say. I think I really like these shoes, but I had feet and joint problems. One other thing that's not pictured here is our bear canister. We borrowed ours from a really nice man who actually is one of the Facebook admins for the JMT groups. And he had a custom 16-inch barricade, which is made of carbon fiber. With 16 inches, we had 1,000 cubic inches of volume to fit our food in. We were doing 6-day legs maximum. For the two of us, we were able to fit all of our food for those 6 days into that bear canister. And then of course, one day you can leave that outside of the bear can. The barricade is so much better and it's much lighter. It's also incredibly expensive, which is why we were super grateful to be able to borrow it. There was one piece of gear that I really wish I had brought. I was debating about this for a long time and then decided not to bring it, but it ended up raining for the first 3 days, raining and hailing, and we also had snow and we were in a windstorm at one point, and there were many freezing nights and mornings, so I really wish that I had brought rain pants. It was the only thing that I felt like I was really missing. Everything else that I had worked great. I was really happy with it. So that's my gear list for the JMT 2019. It was a little chilly this September, but I think everything that I had worked out pretty well. I hope that this gear list helps you prepare for the JMT so that you can hike it comfortably and safely as well. Happy trails!